This is the Galaxy S25 Ultra and it's too good. And I got bored of it, which is why I got the Galaxy A16, which is 1/10 the price of the Ultra. Which got me thinking, how good is a phone that's worth less than a pair of AirPods? Is it 10 times worse, or are we just wasting money on these phones? Let's find out. It looks kinda premium, especially with the free cameras. If you remove your brain cells for a second, you might be fooled into thinking that this is the S25. Oh wait, every Samsung phone looks the same now, never mind. And even the plastic frame doesn't feel that much worse than the titanium on the Ultra. And immediately, I found the biggest problem with this phone. You thought I was gonna tell you? Straight away? Don't you like being edged a little bit? Anyway, when you look at the front, that's when you realize that maybe this isn't the S25. It still has the ugly teardrop from 1964. Okay, but seriously, that hasn't been a thing since like 2019. And the chin is also pretty thick, but then I remembered how ugly the Pixel 8a was, and I'm willing to forgive that. But this, I cannot forgive. Both the A06 and the previous year's A15 had headphone jacks, but the A16 doesn't. Why? Why are we just climbing down the ladder and removing headphone jacks from budget phones? Sure, if you're rich, you can buy wireless earbuds, but a $150 phone? Hello? But at least this thing still has a micro SD card. And speaking of the A06, I made a video where I used that phone for a couple of days, and this phone is actually a really good step up from that phone. You're getting an AMOLED 90Hz screen instead of a 60Hz IPS one. And you know what? Trust me when I say this, the screen is actually pretty good. Obviously, you can tell that the A16 doesn't have that anti-reflective coating that the Ultra has, so the glare is way more visible. But most phones don't even have that, and looking at it, it's actually pretty good. But how does it feel? Good morning. I have a couple of objectives for this phone today. First, I have to go out and get a fancy drink and have a walk in a park. What can go wrong? So I went outside, walked into the woods, and decided to test the camera a little bit. This phone doesn't even have 4K, or even 1080p 60 FPS. What? Even the Galaxy S5 from 11 years ago has 4K. But maybe the camera actually looks pretty good. Yeah, the camera is not the best. This genuinely looks like me at the zoo footage from 2005. And zooming should be illegal on this thing. I hung out with the pigs a little bit and I didn't realize there are brown ones too. Also, it looks like I'm purposely shaking the camera, but I'm not. This is genuinely how shaky it was. It has no stabilization whatsoever. I tried zooming in on the ducks and clearly they were having a lot of fun without me. And then I found an imposter just standing there pretending to be a duck. Let's call him Walt. I tried the same thing on the S25 Ultra and obviously it was a little bit better. Just a tiny. Walt was still there, this time in 4K. Let's spam hi Walt in the comments. And then it was time to test the selfie camera. And this really surprised me. If you check online, somehow the A16 has a slightly bigger sensor, a slightly wider aperture, and an extra megapixel. How does that even happen? But this actually shocked me because if you look at the comparison, the Ultra absolutely obliterates it. I'm not surprised that it's better quality, but this just proves that the sensor size is kind of irrelevant when all of the work is being done by the processing. I noticed that this thing didn't have an inbuilt screen recorder, which meant that I had to get this third-party one, which was full of ads. Why is the screen recorder missing? Also, look how cool is this. I stuck my phone magnetically to a metal pole for this video. You know, so far the camera isn't really that bad. Yes, it's 1080p. It doesn't have any stabilization, but that's okay. The missing OIS is usually a problem, but it's a $100 phone. I can forgive that. I then found a really sketchy looking campsite and I don't like the look of it. Also, this phone has a pro mode just for photos, but it only has one wide